Well, I suppose I'll just start by saying, why am I replacing the tub with a tub? And I'll show you why. So when we first got the truck, the van wasn't properly set up, so we didn't have enough of a gap sort of between here. I think we only had like 80 mil, maybe 100 at the most. And we were just backing it into a certain spot constantly where I was living, and it was just a bit off camber. And I think it was the first month I had the truck, end up connecting the bottom of the van and the top tub and just tore it all up. So you kind of see it here, we've scratched all that, destroyed that thing. Sort of bent this a bit here, you kind of see it's a bit bent, and the other side of this here is dented. Quite small stuff, but enough to just always bother me. Also under here, you can can't really see it, but this section here is all bent in. And then also just having all the bits and pieces fitted, it wasn't really something I'd ever, never used a fifth wheel before, never had that many plugs in the back of a ute, so I just put them where I thought they were going to work. And just over time I've thought, no, there's a better place for that. So I'm probably just going to move the airlines maybe a bit higher, because I'm always hitting them with things when they put them in the back of the ute. They're not too bad. The air compressor, that's been an absolute nightmare. It's fallen off. I don't know if you can see it up under here. It's laying on the side. It's fallen off about 4 times. So finally time to mount that thing properly. And yeah, we ended up finding a tub for $500 out of Melbourne, and it was just a brand spanker. Didn't even leave the showroom floor. It came off in Chevy and went straight to a factory, so it is immaculate. So it's time for me to spend the next 4 days stripping it right back and redoing a few things, but we will keep you updated on that. I'm hoping just to have the tub off today, because I've put it back on once, but it's I've never taken it off yet, so we'll see how fun this will be. I'll just quickly jump on to make sure there's nothing hooked up still. Alright, just hooked up there. So I want to move, this is the air tank, the one's the air brakes for the van. So I want to move that because it's right the way where the spare tyre is. Well, we are 1/4 of the way there. So while this is off, this is all the air brake system for the air brakes in the van, and I've been getting some leaks. The pressure on my gauge on the floor inside the car has been dropping fairly quickly, so I need to go through and start from this end and work my way all the way back through the place and figure out where my leaks are. which might be those fittings there, but that, and then move the air tank so we've got room for a spare tyre again, and replace our sticky air brake valve, and then muck around with some other wiring and lights under there as well. So I reckon it'll be 4 days. I've had a bit of a look around and I can only seem to find 2 air leaks. I've been able to fix one, but yeah, there's another little one in here. So it's this fitting just there. I spray a bit of water on it. See those bubbles coming out? I'll get a bit of a better view. So that's one leak. That one there was leaking, but now I've been able to pull it out, clean it. It seemed to have stopped, but that one there has not stopped. So I think it might be go down the shop and try buy a new fitting, I think. Don't know. I might try to pull it out one more time. I've got a pair of pipe cutters, so I might just clean the end up, try to plug it back in, see if that changes anything. But yeah, the rest of it, doesn't seem to be any leaks anywhere. It's just, yeah, 2 leaks. It doesn't leak really badly. It's just if you leave the truck overnight, it'll drop down probably 30-40 psi. While the tub's off, I do my best to fix them. So what's been happening is whenever I put the park brake on the caravan, which releases all the air out of the system, there's a solenoid or a valve under the truck that has been playing up. So I started with the valve because that was the cheapest thing, and I don't think I fixed it. It's hard to say without actually having the van hooked up, but whenever I turn the truck off, it releases a little bit of air, and it just hasn't been doing that lately, and that's when sort of all the problems started with the handbrake not releasing on the van. So unfortunately, that means I'm probably have to do the solenoid. So that's actually the system there that runs the air brakes in the van, and I've just replaced that thing there with the little red wire coming off it, and I think that round thing there is the next thing I'm going to replace, and hopefully that'll fix it. But at the moment, I'm pretty happy with where I've gotten today. I've got most of my, well, I think all of my air leaks fixed, and yeah, we'll get back at it tomorrow. Time for a beer. All right, a little update on where we're at. I've spent this morning relocating all the van sort of fittings, airlines, brake lights, Anderson plugs and stuff. This might interest a few people. That plug down here for the cameras, actually, I just pulled it out of the rear bumper and pulled that blank off cap that's in there out, and I just had to trim a bit of the Raptor coating off it, and then just clip straight in there. I have had to order extended wires from America for the camera, so when they get here I'll be able to plug that in. But that's been our biggest issue. I've broken that camera twice now because it's had to hang over the rear tailgate and down to the bumper. So hopefully that'll be the last time. But yes, this is where all our connections are now. I put them up high because I was so worried that would puncture my bladder if it went over hard in the back of the ute. And when we sometimes put the motorbike or the scooter in the back here, the tyre kept pressing against it, and I'd put my foot on the brake and I'd just lose a heap of air out of the tank. Anyway, so that's where we're at the minute. The other one's just sitting here. I've actually had to pull the wiring loom out of it because that's a 23 model tub. No, 24 model tub, and this is a 23. And they actually use different plugs. Which one is it? This one here, that plug there is like a 12, and on my truck it's only like an 8. So I had to pull the whole wiring loom out for the tail lights and everything and replace it with my original one. But yeah, it's a huge job pulling these things apart and putting them back together. Anyway, we'll keep at it. We have a tub on. I didn't film it because we were just so flat out trying to get it all happening, but that didn't work on the last one. It just used to drop to the fucking, sorry, excuse my French, it used to just drop to the bottom. But yeah, it's been going real well. I've got all these, everything here is all wired up, plumbed up and everything. So I'm pretty happy with how it's going so far. Now it's got to fit the turntable and air compressors, and probably not too much really. Another day and a half, I reckon she'll be back on the road. It's been pretty good. All right, day 4 of me making my truck look exactly the same as when we started. Well, we're going to put turntable in today, so I'll actually film a bit of that, because I didn't film anything much yesterday of me fitting all the plugs and everything up, but I will bring you along for a bit of a ride with this one. So it's just started raining, which is perfect, and it's freezing. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning here, and I know how cold it is, but she's jumper and long pants weather. Anyway, let's get cracking. Before I start putting the turntable in, I might fit the rest of this airbag airline up. I was going to drill a hole, because that's what I did last time, but then I found these just 2 little holes just here, and it just happens to fit perfect. So I just need to get a little bit of a longer airline. I'll run it down and plug it into the bag. There we go. All right. This is so painful. Oh, when you bugger. Where is it? It's possibly the most frustrating job I had to do so far. Come on, you bugger. There we go. Okay. Well, that's that. Trim that off before I plug it in. I think that's in. I was only like 100mm short with the original piece. Anyway, we're plumbed in. Let's go get the top section done. Make sure this is pressed in good and proper. Okay, let's see if we can feed it in. It's in, but I feel like it's a bit squashed. Maybe I should try to feed that in first. Oh man, it's not going well. Yeah, I think it's going to be all right. I don't love it, but We'll test and trial that one. We'll see how that goes. It's just too good of a spot not to try and use. I'm aware this isn't the right tool for this job, I know, but it will suffice. I might try and put a bit of air in that and see what it does. It doesn't look that happy down there. Seems to be holding air. No, slowly leaking, really slowly. Alright, we'll have to find something better for that. As ideal as having that hole there was, I'm going to drill one. So, I might just plant it down there. It's probably the best spot for it. Oh, I don't know. Bugger it. It's going there. Decision made. That'll do me. Alright, I got a little bit sidetracked. I had a thought. I've got to mount my air compressor here somewhere. I thought I'm going to be laying on my side a lot, so I better not put my turntable rails in. So we will do the air compressor instead. That there needs to get mounted. Wiring up and in through this hole here. Try and feed that up. I'm actually a bit of a pro at this. This is my 4th time feeding these wires back through. So that's my air line I've got to feed up, and the plug for the compressor. So I'll get them up. I've got a draw wire here, a bit of air line. So I'll tape everything I need to it, and hopefully come up without a problem. But it can be pretty fiddly. So this is where I have to make a decision on where to mount it. It's about as far as I can go with the wires. Last time I had a pair of needle nose pliers to pull through. I think that's us. So the compressor wire was just ran. I went over a bar and I didn't want it to go over, so I ended up pulling the step off, and I thought, well, while the step's off, let's fit the train horns back up. Haven't had them for a while, so we'll continue with that because the step's already off. So well, I can tell you right now that was a pretty unpleasant job, squeezing those things in there. But we got it in. There wasn't much room in there. Ah, well, it's good to have that done. Now we'll move back onto the air compressor. Get out of the dirt. Alright, well, I've pulled the back off the air compressor. I'm going to nut it up right there with, what's that, 8mm bolts. So let's see how this goes. Right. I stole those bolts out of the little side steps on the old tub. I reckon that's rock solid. That went a lot better than I thought it was going to. Well, I suppose we try and get it on. It went too well. I feel like it's going to get a lot harder. Remember how I said that went too easy? Yeah, well, I did. The bolts are just slightly touching the back of the air compressor, so I'm having to sort of really jam it on to get these little tiny little nuts in there, and it is not easy. That's the air compressor mounted. It's rock solid. Real happy with that. So I'll put a bit of stuff here on. Make sure I don't get any air leaks. Done. Put it under there because it gets a bit of protection from the weather. I've actually had, it's my second one of them. The last one I had got too much water in it and just stopped working, blew all the fuses. So this one has been a bit better protected, which is good. Not just, I don't know, I'll see how that goes. It's sort of pretty, we'll see if it flops around, but job done. Let's see if we can get a turntable in here. Drilling some holes in the deck. Alright, we'll get the plates in here. See how holes are going. I was able to drill up from the bottom because it's got like a chassis kit on it. So it's some big sort of plates and that clamped up onto the chassis. And it's got locating pins, so I just drilled up from the bottom with a 9mm and then just used the Christmas tree to go back down. Looks good. A nut on it.
So like hold it in.
Just press on it, yeah. Yep, and then the next one at the back. Next one next to it. This one here. You'll be happy to know we've got train horns again.
Oh yeah, I'm thrilled about that.
That's good. two in the middle. Bam. We're back together. Well, inside the tub anyway. So I'm back in. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. I'm real happy with all that. That works much better than what it used to be. All right. Flares, under body lights, and two in each wheel arch, and a rear bumper. Bob's your uncle. Now, see those 4 bolts there on your side?
Yeah, those two.
That's good. A couple of bolts in there. Number plate back on. A couple of bolts to go into here. That's pretty much it.